Yay! Hi, everybody. Welcome to another glorious Thursday evening.
Makes me sick.
Glorious makes me sick. With the team from simplymadelocal.com, we are the four business ladies behind Simply Made Local. We are a virtual online marketplace for all things crafty, handmade, personal, custom, and magical. So come check us out, simplymadelocal.com. I'll introduce you to our team. I'm Abby.
Brian.
Taylor.
Harry.
And we could not get on tonight any faster. We are so excited. This may be our most exciting tutorial as of yet for 2020. Ryan, go ahead and let them know. What are we making this evening?
We are making Hocus Pocus spell books. I'm actually had all of these supplies for a whole year just waiting for this. So yeah, we're super excited. I think our consensus is that Hocus Pocus is probably one of the best Halloween movies ever made. Well, I think so.
Yes.
It is the best. Okay, I know
yes.
it as a group, it is one of our favorites for sure. And so we want to pay homage to Winifred and her book of spells.
Yes. So this is like one of those movies, and I know that I can probably speak for a lot of people, that just is the essence of Halloween. I grew up with this movie. I was a little bit older, but I've grown up with this movie, and it just is one of those Disney classics that really bring in Halloween for me. So to be able to bring elements of this movie into my house, I'm not someone who goes all out in one theme. I like little pieces of different themes all throughout. So to incorporate Hocus Pocus in small ways all over my house is something that I really enjoy doing. So tonight's project is a really fun one for me. So we come to you live here every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to share a different craft with you each week. So if you're someone who enjoys crafting, or if you're a handmade maker that is looking for just new ideas or inspirations, we invite you to join us here every Thursday. We always announce our project and what we are doing on Monday evenings. So be sure to check out our Instagram and our Facebook at Simply Made Local. You'll be able to find out the project and get a supply list. And we invite you to craft along with us here on Thursday nights. We love to hear who you are, where you are crafting from, and if you're a maker, if you have your own small business, shout out your shop name, how we can look at your stuff. We welcome all of that here in the comments below. So please let us know who you are and where you're crafting from. And also, we choose a different craft every week, so you never know what you're going to find. So be sure to check us out.
Also,
we are just waiting a second, letting everybody join us. If you're somebody who thinks that your friends would like to see what we're doing this evening, please start a watch party. We are always thankful for your support, but we're just going to let everybody come on and we're going to get started.
And I wouldn't mind hearing if you all love Hocus Pocus as much as we do. I know when I was growing up, there was a good amount of time that my mother could not pry the Hocus Pocus VHS tape out of my hands. I'd come home, it was in the VHS player. When I come home from school, I watched it literally year round. Me and my sister, that was our favorite movie. It still to this day is. I am pretending like I think I said this on the last live, that it is fall already. I mean, it is fall, but like we're having fall weather. And I've already watched it this season multiple times. It's a go-to movie for me. So I'm so excited to be making this project. But if you love Hocus Pocus as much as we do, throw it in the comments. We would love to hear from you guys. And if you guys have any other Hocus Pocus themed crafts that you guys can think of, let us know, because we would love to make more Hocus Pocus themed stuff.
Yes. I definitely think that Taylor and I have a plan to throw down some potion bottles on our TikTok account, so maybe you'll see those on a story somewhere along the way. So What were you going to say, Carrie? I'm so sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. I was gonna mention the blog that Abby did last year, the entire blog that we
Yes,
did.
that's right. I love Hocus Pocus so much. We have a blog at simplymadelocal.com. So not only are we a virtual marketplace for makers to sell their handmade products 24/7, we are an Etsy alternative that has an excellent option if you're looking for something different. Please check us out. We just have a ton of makers who pour their hearts out and their products on the site. We are ready for fall and for the holiday season, so please support your local artists and come check us out. But we also have a crafting and DIY blog where we just kind of bring to you the best of what we can find across all social media and across the internet, handmade style. So last year we put together a really cool blog. We'll be sure to put that to the top of our blog so that you'll be able to easily access that. We can also put a link here in the comments below. We found the best of what handmade makers are making that are centered around Hocus Pocus. So definitely check that out. That is one of my favorite ones.
Blog. I mean, like Hocus Pocus themed stuff that you would never think could be Hocus Pocus themed, but they literally hit the nail on the head. The stuff that Abby found and that these makers were able to come up with was incredible.
Yeah, it was really good.
Well, that's what I really love, that, you know, we can find those handmade options. So these are something that's custom that you're not going to find anywhere else, nowhere else, which is just so cool. You're not going to find it on the shelves and from your, you know, big box chain stores. And so you kind of have this like special piece that you can share with your friends.
And they were so unique, such unique pieces. I mean, I have seen at some of the Halloween party stores a couple of Hocus Pocus things, but they were so like cheesy, and you could just tell they were so mass produced. They were not custom or meaningful or special in any way, like all of the stuff you found on your blog.
Oh my gosh, yes. So, okay.
The blog. Can I just plug the fall fashion blog real quick? Because
absolutely, because that's like one of our biggest blogs of the whole year. Articles on the blog.
Yes, it's coming out
Talk
Saturday.
about it, Carrie. What do we got? What can we expect?
Oh my gosh, so much stuff. Fringe like crazy. I think I mentioned that last time. There's a lot of fringe this year. And just beautiful colors. There's comfy clothes. There's flowy boho looks, and even kids clothes. I found some cute kids clothes.
Yeah,
so we've got a ton of makers, lots of jewelry, lots of accessories. It's gonna be fun.
Because I really think that that's what everybody was kind of expecting this year with fall fashion. I mean, we've got, you know, this social impact that has just impacted us in every aspect of life. So why would it not impact fashion? But I love that this year people are more going towards that laid back fashion. It's not what you normally see on the runways. You're seeing more of that comfy style, which, speaking of, last week on Thursday, we put our spin on some fall apparel. We did fall tie-dye comfy sweatshirts, and you can see the girls here, Ryan and Taylor. These are their finished products. We have that also up on our Instagram and our Facebook if you want to check out how to make that yourself. That was a super fun project.
Yes, it was super fun taking pictures too.
Super easy. I actually made a different one on live, and I just didn't like the way it turned out. I wound up making this one. I laid it out in the grass while I was camping last weekend, and just was like stood from afar.
Yeah, it looked really cute.
My bleach gun, and I was like, pew pew pew. Like that's way better.
Wow, super fun. So, so you'll be able to catch things like that every Thursday here with us. So. I think we're just about ready. Everybody is getting on now and joining us. So Ryan, if you want to go over our crazy supply list, we can go ahead and get started with that. But I just want to preface this whole project. We had just had this discussion that this is one of those projects where don't be intimidated by this, because this looks like such a daunting project and it looks like it's only for expert crafters. It is not. We managed to find all of our supplies from the Dollar Tree. So you're going to be able to do this on a budget. And these supplies are really limitless. This is all, you don't have to buy from the Dollar Tree. You can buy from things that you already have in your craft room, which I think we did. I think this all cost under $5 for us. Yeah. We're giving you inspiration. I want to just make that very important. We're giving you inspiration. Yeah. You don't have to follow this along to the T. You don't have to be perfect with this. If your stitches or your lines aren't great or your painting isn't perfect.
Not supposed to be perfect.
It's not supposed to be perfect. So really have fun with this project.
I mean, how old is this book? You guys know better than I do. How old is this book supposed to be?
Thousands of years old.
Thousands of years old.
Yes.
Well, hundreds of years old. Not thousands.
And it was given to Winifred Sanders by the devil himself, and it's supposed to be made from human skin, and actually has a consciousness because she talks to it all the time. So,
okay, so Ryan, tell us.
I'm just saying every witch's spell book should be their own. So put your own spin on it.
This is
so,
true.
But the basic components to make a semi-accurate copy of the one from Hocus Pocus are one large book. We got these ones from the Dollar Tree. Take the cover that comes off of it on. Yep. I actually really wanted to have my book be really big, so I'm using one of my old nursing school books.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I was like, that thing's been sitting on that shelf for almost 9 years. I'm gonna use it. Anyways, so basic supplies. You need one hardback book, and you want to make sure it's a hardback book because a softback book will just not stand up to all the other supplies. You have two options for the main covering. You can use toilet paper, 2-ply, and you peel it apart, or you can use paper towels. I think the majority of us are using paper towels because I feel like, or we all feel like, that it just gives it a little bit better of texture of more of like what you think leathery old skin would feel like. You need eyeballs. I have one back here. They sell the packs of eyeballs from the Dollar Tree. And there we go. And you need a pack of the snakes.
And it doesn't matter what color on the eyeballs.
No. It doesn't matter what color on the eyeballs, and it doesn't matter what color on the snakes because we're painting it all.
2 different kinds of snakes. So during Halloween, you can get those glow-in-the-dark snakes. These ones are actually year-round at the Dollar Tree. These are in the kids section, and have all different kinds of colors on these ones. So,
and I have different ones here.
After I got these last Halloween, I like the other girls' snakes better because what we're going to wind up doing is tying these in a pretzel, and this thing does not want to do that. So
mine are a little tough, but I'm going to make it work.
So yeah, I made it work for my cover pieces, but I got so irritated with it, I wound up using clay for something else. So that was actually for my personal book. That was something I already had on hand from a previous craft we've done when we did the air dry clay. So check out that video too. So yeah. The only other thing I did different was I got a pack of they look like little centipedes, and I just cut all the little legs off, and I'm using those as fingers for the spine. And you need Mod Podge, and you need some paint in a couple of browns. And I also have a silver, but if you couldn't find silver paint, the Dollar Tree has the silver markers as well. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I just happen to have the
gray, and I'm hoping it comes out well.
Definitely hot glue. Lots and lots of hot glue. The sponge brush from the Dollar Tree works really the best to get the Mod Podge onto the paper towel and onto your book. And I'm also using something cool for the stitches we're going to do. I'm using just some Dollar Tree twine for that as well. So even with all that stuff, you're going to have half stuff on hand, but when you go to the Dollar Tree, this is going to be an under $10 project, even if you have to buy the paint.
Yeah. You also need a green paint if you want to make the eyeball green, which apparently is supposed to be green. This is correct?
Yes.
Yeah, because my eyeball's actually red.
I'm like staring at eyeballs all day here.
I do my eyeball blue, actually.
I think that it probably doesn't matter what color your eyeball is. Pick what you like.
No.
That's just what the Hocus Pocus book one is.
The Hocus Pocus book.
My daughter's eyes are green, so I'm going with green.
My lovely and Just here to deliver some clay for me.
Okay, so we're just going to get started. I think we're going to start with Carrie. She is going to show us that first step and what to do to get going.
We will see how this works out. I've got some Mod Podge in my little red cup here. And I'm going to use a regular paintbrush to do the first layer on the book itself. And then I'm going to switch to my sponge brush after I get this all kind of taken care of. So layer it on. Try not to do too thick of a coat so it doesn't warp your book. But with the hardback books, I don't know, I imagine that would be a little more difficult, but I can see it warping this cover if you get it like really a heavy pour. So just kind of paint your book with the Mod Podge, and then you're going to start layering some paper towels on top of that. Which I've already got mine.
And this way, we did it kind of all a little bit different. Some of us did a one ply on the paper towels. Some of us did the whole paper towel. It's to preference. If you use the whole paper towel, you're going to get more of that texture. If you use a one ply of the paper towel, you're going to get more of that defined look, more, maybe a little more detailed,
And,
not so much more of that chunky.
Also, as far as the Mod Podge goes, it also depends on preference too, because I like to use a watered down Elmer's glue. It just depends on preference too. I just prefer a little bit more of a watery texture. But then you really have to be careful with the amount that you're using so that you're not warping your book cover. That's what I just prefer to use when I'm working with any sort of paper on, like trying to stick paper to anything. I always will just water down Elmer's glue or just any sort of glue product.
Yeah, I've got Mod Podge here, so I like to take the easy route, girls. So we're going that way.
And that's good too.
The Elmer's glue trick is really smart. Okay.
Yeah, if you don't have Mod Podge on hand, it's just a nice, easy like alternative for a lot of people too.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to like layer these smaller bits onto this side here, and I don't know, this is all gonna get wrinkly, so we'll just keep working here.
So I love that so you want to get all of that texture down, and then you're going to give it some time to dry, and then your next step is going to be doing getting into creating your eyeball and doing that piece next.
Yeah,
you can just wing this and just put your pieces down wherever, or after your Mod Podge dries, you can then go back in and start to stencil out and give yourself an idea of where you want to put all of your items. So once again, that's up to you, but we'll get to that one next.
You can kind of start as you go too. Like if you have an idea of where you're going to be putting your eyeball, you can kind of start to build your paper towels in that area as well. So if you have an idea, like, you know, where the eye is going to be and you want to kind of build that eye socket kind of look, you can start to kind of form your paper towels in a circle around that area. Wherever you're going to want to be giving more of that depth to, you can just kind of start building and building and building. And that's kind of how I got the look, because I actually have done this. This is one project I have done before, you guys.
Yay!
So that is one thing that I would recommend is just going in and kind of playing with the way that your paper towels look. And what I like to do is I will take my paper towels and I will rip all the edges off, all those straight edges off, and with this really jagged edges, and then I will take them and I make a bunch of little pieces, and then I will play with them for a while as I sit here and kind of just figure out exactly the way that I want it to look. It takes a little while. Also, if you have paper towels that say Bounty on them,
that might not work out so well.
Might want to look at
Rip
that.
that piece out.
Okay.
Just FYI.
And with this one, I found that I did not do the back side of the book. I did the front and the side. It was very weird. This was very random. I did not do this on purpose. I did not choose this because I didn't know, because it was actually under the jacket. But on the front of my book had this really cool design.
Oh.
It's snakes.
Oh,
I decided to keep that, and that's going to be the back side of my book now. So my book is actually upside down and the opposite way when you open it. So I thought that was really neat. So I kept that. I only did the top and the side, and then I'm going to leave the back side just blank black.
Well, that's cool that you happened to get that lucky.
It was, yeah, I didn't even know because it was under the jacket. So it was a pleasant surprise when I took the book jacket off.
Okay. So
I have up a book about marriage from the Dollar Tree, so mine doesn't have anything that has to do with Halloween or Hocus Pocus.
I actually picked up a book that I want. It's called Capturing the Devil, and I actually was like reading the book jacket, and I'm like, oh, I kind of actually want to read this book, so I'm glad I didn't mess with it.
I know, I always feel bad messing up these books.
I know.
well, it's still readable. I could totally still read this book. It's just going to have a very different cover than it did originally.
Yeah, very true.
You need a lot of Mod Podge, I'm discovering. So
You need a lot of
get a good amount of that.
You can always water it down, Carrie.
Yes.
So
that's-
once you put the Mod Podge down, then you put the toilet paper down, and then you Mod Podge over
right.
the paper towels.
Yes. So this is my second layer over the paper towels. And then I might do another thin layer of paper towel that I can kind of bunch up a little bit. Wrinkle, I guess. So it looks a little more skin-like.
Oh my gosh. So, I've been watching a ton of YouTube videos so we could learn how to do this as well. And I saw the coolest trick, and she wasn't even talking about it, but I thought it was so cool, and I've never seen any of us do it, so I thought I'd bring it up. Totally unrelated to this situation, but very helpful for crafters. So, you got your glue gun, and you want to put a new glue stick in it, but it always kind of falls out. She just took a little dab of hot glue on the end and popped it there, and then it stuck, so it never fell out.
Huh.
Okay.
Mind blown.
What? Mind blown.
I was like,
So helpful.
we are all very intelligent. Why didn't we think of this?
Because it takes a YouTube video or a TikTok video to teach me things.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Love it.
So once you've got all this down, then what, girls?
Okay, so now once you've got the Mod Podge down, we're going into creating that eyeball. So who would like to explain how to, Taylor is going to explain how to cut the eyeball.
Okay. Sure. So I am almost at that point where I am going to have to start forming that piece here. So I'm going to get to that point in the book over on that side where I'm going to have to start thinking about that. Okay. So how exactly are we going to do this? And we talk about using this, this plastic eyeball from the Dollar Tree. But there are other options. You can use other things. I've seen the modeling clay. I saw a couple people do that, and it was really cool. Obviously that is a little bit more artistic, takes a little bit more talent, but it's definitely doable, and it's something that is achievable. But we are going to be using the Dollar Tree version tonight. So you can take these, like you said, from the dollar store, and you can kind of see if you have ever played ping pong, beer pong, any sort of pong. They are essentially just a pong ball, and they have a seam in the middle. And all I did was very carefully, and I probably should have done this with just like an X-Acto knife, but I just took my scissors and I went in through this little, they have a little hole in them, and I just put my scissors in there and I scored the outside there, and it came right apart. So super easy. And then there is my half of an eyeball. So once I am done kind of figuring out exactly how I want to kind of work this part of my book, so you can kind of see where I'm at right now. So we're not super far along yet. It's not dry yet, but I'm going to be putting it here. And this is where that lock is going to be. So I'm going to be kind of putting in the eye socket and that lock area. I'm going to be taking this and hot gluing it here. But yeah, it's just the half of that eye, and you can really do whatever you want to this. You could completely paint over this white and then draw on your own if you wanted to. You could really do whatever you want with this little plastic piece, but it's just kind of nice that it gives that dimension and that shape like an eyeball. But yeah, that is what that's for. And then we also have like we were talking about earlier, the snakes. So if you have ever seen the Hocus Pocus book, there is there are snakes on the outside, the corners, and up the actual outside portion going up the book. So we have the snakes, they're just plastic, and you can take them and manipulate them and move them around. So that's what we're all planning on doing on our book. Now, the one that's actually on the Hocus Pocus book is kind of a more intricate shape. It has more like I'm sure there is a specific term for what it is, the shape that it is, but it's actually 3 circles and then the head of the snake. But I don't think I'm going to get that crazy. Y'all might be, but I'm not. So mine is going to be more or less kind of a shape like this. You just take some hot glue, and that is where the silver paint or your silver marker from the Dollar Tree comes in. You're just going to kind of get in there with it and get really creative with your painting. Also, as you're going around in your book and after you've painted it completely, if you want to add some dimension too, fabric paint is a really good idea too, like puff paint, because it's going to add that dimension as well. So that's always a thought too. But anyways,
and also, if you don't have the snakes from Dollar Tree, you can actually create every element on your book with glue, with the glue.
Yeah, with glue, with clay, with all of it.
Yes. So if you don't have it from the Dollar Tree, you don't necessarily need to go out and buy these pieces, but they save time. They do give a little bit more definition, but you can get the exact same look and feel with just creating it from the glue gun.
Yeah. So, and there's a lot of options that you can go with for this particular project, which is, I think, why I like it so much. There's just a lot of, different ways you can be creative with it. So that is it as far as like the embellishments go. But as far as like the lock and those extra little elements, I'm just going to be using glue for that, and probably my twine. We get creative with that. And then there is that piece over on this outside that actually has a snake that goes on it. I'm just going to be using a couple pieces of cardboard, and I'm going to be putting these here, and my snake will be on that.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing there. And I am going to be using the twine and the glue for my stitching. We'll see how intricate I'm going to get with that, but I'm really excited. I actually watched a video today where someone was actually physically stitching their book.
That was a crazy one.
Incredible. So if you have the time, I mean, a lot of us are still quarantined. If you have the time and you want to, by all means, do it. Send us photos. We want to see these books.
Yeah, really.
And I do want to mention that. So last week, as we said, we talked about doing those tie-dye shirts. So we did have quite a few of you guys go on and post your finished products on our page on at Simply Made Local on Facebook. And so we're just so excited to see that. If you'd like to join our group, our creative community, definitely come check us out at Simply Made Local. We just love all of you guys and all of our supporters. So the t-shirts look great. So thank you guys for following along always.
And we actually have Ashley asks if she says, I missed it. What's the difference? Abby is tearing her paper towels and Carrie used a full sheet to cover. Will you get a different texture? Pretty much.
Great question. So if you guys are watching me, I'm actually a little bit ahead because for the sake of time, we wanted to make sure that we were going to get a dried version so that we could get started on painting. So I, ahead of time, glued all of my embellishment pieces and all of my extra pieces down, and I'm doing that second layer. So you guys are going to see as I'm getting a little bit ahead, but once you get all of your pieces glued down, you're then going to go back and you're going to apply, well, you have an option to do this or not do this. So you're going to see Taylor not do this step, but you're going to see me do this step so that you can decide which step that you like. So I'm going to go back after I put on all of my pieces, and I'm tearing pieces and I'm applying them over what I've glued down, and I'm applying another layer of the Mod Podge to give it a whole skin over look. So you're going to get that texture before we get started painting. So I'm going to make sure that we are ready for when we get to that step, ready to go, and we can just get started to paint.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my texture.
But you can, on the initial piece, Carrie used a whole sheet of toilet paper, but if I'm sorry, paper towels. But if you choose to use toilet paper, you're going to have that more of a tearing off piece look. So you can do one full sheet of toilet paper or paper towels, or you can go and just kind of do a patchwork look.
And you know, when I was at the Dollar Tree, I was needing some of the supplies like the eyeballs and stuff that I didn't have. I had actually seen they had the brown craft paper. And I was thinking, I wonder if I should buy some of this and use it as well. It wouldn't necessarily give you that like texture unless you crinkled it first maybe and then put it down. But it's definitely something to think about. And I thought about maybe doing it on another book if I decided to make another one, because these are just so fun to do. And they're fun to give out as gifts because so many people love Hocus Pocus, especially if you go to like a Halloween party or something, maybe not a ton this year. But
yeah, that would be a fantastic hostess gift.
It'd be a super fun gift to give to people because everyone loves Hocus Pocus. And, you know, it's just a fun thing to do. But I was thinking about doing one with that brown craft paper. And then I know that, Ryan, you were saying you watched a video where a girl took the paper and actually
I know they're the crappy brown paper towels you get in like public bathrooms, but they had those on a roll and were using them as this because they didn't have to do as much painting. There was already that base brown there.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Where to get that brown?
So that's the thing. There's so many options with this particular craft, and that's kind of why I like it so much, because you could just do so much with it. Right. But yeah, we're all gonna kind of have the same-ish outlook, outcome, I should say, at the end. But it's all gonna have kind of your own spin on it.
Okay,
that's what's
I
fun.
feel relatively happy with my texture here, so.
Me too. And I am now to that point where I can let this dry and it'll be ready for painting. So I'm going to put this to the side and let you girls kind of catch up to me.
Okay. I think I'm actually going to quiet myself for a second and try to blow dry this and see if I can get it dried a little bit quicker.
And then get started on the next piece. Okay, so while they're doing that, I am just going to make mention of a really exciting week that we're having here at Simply Made Local. So this week we are kind of celebrating our makers. We're celebrating fall. We had fall, our first day of fall this week. So we just couldn't be more excited about this time. And if you're a maker, if you make handmade products, then you know that this is one of the most exciting times of the year, if not the most exciting time of the year, because we are going into retail season. And what that means for somebody who makes a living from hand making products is that this is the time, for us to get out everything that we've been working for all year and really get that out. So this is like the best time of the year because Christmas is coming and that holiday season. So very exciting time. So We are a virtual marketplace. We are a place where you can post your handmade items that you make, anything custom, anything that isn't the same way after you put your hands on it. So whether it's digitally created, DIY assembled, or just handmade, we are the marketplace for you. We invite you to come check us out. We're an Etsy alternative. So if you're looking for something different where you're not going to be instantly buried, if you'd like to join a creative community of makers that just really want to help you to succeed, we offer all of the marketing. We've no listing fees, no commission fees. You're going to get all of that with Simply Made Local. And we're even going to give you your first month free if you're new with us. So you can use code handmade during sign up, and you're going to get 30 days of unlimited listings, unlimited product views, and just a really awesome package to try us out for your first month. So with that, we are extending some freebies this week. We sent out an email last week with all of the full details. You are going to catch another email this Friday, so be sure to check out for that. That has just all those details. If you are new to simplymadelocal.com, or if you are an existing member, if you upload two new listings to your shop until October 1st, you're going to get a fantastic SVG bundle. And I know that a lot of people might not know what that is, but it is a graphic bundle. So you're going to get these graphics that you are going to be able to do some unlimited crafting with. So you could put these images on t-shirts. You can put these images on vinyl, put them onto drinkware, or really anything.
Water slides, all kinds of stuff.
You can use these images to make logos. You can use these images on cards, or just upload them to any profile or account. So it's really fun. They're going to be fall and Halloween inspired. Really, really fun package. So you're going to get that if you upload 2 listings. And we already see some really incredible products go up this week. So be sure to check out simplymadelocal.com. As well as if they are fall or Halloween themed, then we're going to get you're going to get entered into a $25 Michael's gift card giveaway. And so that's just fun, so that you can just further your crafting with some new supplies, and buy some things to put those SVG prints on. So really, really fun time.
Oh, I can give a preview if you'd like.
Oh, yeah, we do have some previews. We have been sending those out in the emails, as well as on our Instagram page. Oh, look right there. So that is one of the graphics that you are going to receive in that bundle.
On a printable vinyl. So you can, this is actually heat transfer printable vinyl. So I can put this on a t-shirt.
That is so fun. And I love that. It's like kind of that mom fall.
Yep.
I love it. So you are going to get that, and it's a giveaway. So if you're somebody who crafts, if you're somebody who loves to make handmade products, and you're kind of thinking, well, should I get started? Should I sell some items? We are the marketplace for you. This is the time. You have nothing to lose, nothing out of pocket. You're going to get some freebies. You're joining a creative group that's here to support you. What are you going to lose? It's a no-brainer. Simplymadelocal.com. Come check us out. Okay, so where are you guys at? Have you guys got the eyeballs on?
So yeah, I fully got my eyeball on.
Woo, look at that, Ryan. I love it. So you're using clay.
Yeah, so I love Hocus Pocus so much. I was so excited. So I was like, I kind of really want to step it up a notch. And also because these plastic snakes just weren't giving me the look I want. But so yeah, I just did clay. This was the very fast oven baked clay that we used for our resin, our ring mold things that we did before, that I still use that thing every day. So yeah, I just made a circle, punch little designs in it. I used the clay to do the eyelids for mine and the snake. So yeah.
Very cool.
Okay,
and so
I love it. Well,
all my embellishments on, and I've got my glue stitching. So I know I'm explaining the kind of stitching that I'm doing. So when I put my glue down, I took while it was still warm, I took this like crochet hook thing, not a crochet hook, but my Cricut tool, hook tool. And I just kind of like put a seam down the middle. I saw that on a cool video today. I'm taking all the best parts of all of the videos I've seen today and kind of mushing them into this one because I really thought it was cool and I really want this to look awesome. And so I just kind of went down. So then it really looks more like two pieces of skin that have been stitched together. It gives like that seam where two pieces of fabric would meet. Should I go ahead and go into what I'm doing for the stitches? Or
yes, please go ahead.
So then you can do this two ways. You can take your glue gun and just go from one side to the other over and over, and that will leave a fantastic looking stitch mark. And I'm kind of going to demonstrate that too. But what I'm going to do to give it a more realistic look is I'm going to take little tiny pieces of the twine from this twine pack that comes in 3 for $1 at the Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna glue those down over it. And then when we start painting, I'm gonna do like more of a painting effect on it, so it looks more like real hair, because apparently the book was supposed to be stitched with human hair. This is what I read, so I'm just gonna start doing that. But you can get the same cool effect with just glue. I'm probably gonna burn the crap out of my fingers, and I have a ton of glue, so I need to get some of this Mod Podge out my fingers first.
Yeah, I've got my book's getting there on the drying, but I think I'm gonna give it a little bit more because I'm messing with it, and it keeps the paper towels kind of keep moving. But it's giving it more texture, so we're fine. I figured I'd start painting my eyeball.
I've just been adding texture. You guys can kind of see in this area around the edge where I'm going to add my eyeball eventually. But this is kind of what I was talking about, where you can add some of that pre-done texture. Where you're going to be at, where you know you're going to be adding things, like I was saying before. So I'm going to kind of be adding some things in here where I know I'm going to be putting some stitching and some other things. Just to kind of give my book that underlying texture. I really want to build this book and the look from the bottom up, and kind of really give it that look that I'm going for there with the from the bottom up is what I'm trying to say.
Bottom up, ladies.
Got it out. Okay. Well, I really want to start painting, but I'm not quite sure I'm dry enough here yet, so.
Well, you're gonna, I think, put your embellishments on first, Carrie, and you got to put your glue. So if you, like we said, if you don't have some of the snakes, you're gonna want to make sure that you get that look created by the glue gun. Right. Which I did. So you saw the girls, we made clay with some of the snakes. We've got some of the plastic snakes, and my book is almost there for drying. So we're gonna get ready to start painting here in just a second. This one is probably one of our longest tutorials, so we thank you for hanging in there and watching this. And if you're doing someone who's doing a playback, feel free to just kind of fast forward through for where you need. But this is what mine is looking like at this time. So I created those stitches with the glue. I've got those Dollar Tree snakes on there in this kind of weird pattern. There's my eyeball that I did cover with the paper towel as well and Mod Podge over. So I've got this really great
like
texture.
That you went over it again. I know that we talked about that because I didn't do that in my last one that I had made, but I do like the look of that.
Yeah, it kind of created this really cool texture skin over it. So I'm really kind of digging that. And it's going to make it really cool to paint because it'll be able to pick up on all those different shades. And then this snake going up the spine, that was with glue. So I was able to create that with glue, and you can kind of see that snake head down there at the bottom. I know it's kind of hard to see with the variation of the shadows because some of the Mod Podge is dry and some is not, but give that just another minute and we'll get started. So I'm kind of creating browns that we're going to do first with the base. So we're going to do an all over color. I am not going to do the snakes or the lock in brown. I will be doing those with some a silver color. So I do have some metallic silver that I'm going to use with that over the snakes. And then I'm going to go back in with sort of a lighter color to kind of highlight in between the stitches. And then I'm going to go back again with some a darker matte color, a matte brown, and I'm going to create shadowing to pull out some of that highlight. And then I've got some gold to go on top of the stitches to make that pop. So, and the fun part is let some of it dry. If it's not exactly how you want it, go back over it. And it's one of those fun things where you're not kind of creating an image, you're just doing shadow work. So if you mess up somewhere, cover it over with the brown again and try again. Blend, 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 blend.
Yeah. My kind of crafting.
I know, I love that too. So we are just about there, I think. I think I'm just enough dry. Okay, so I've got my base color. I'm gonna start on that, and then I'll get some of these darks going.
All right. I've got my intruder cat here jumping in and messing up my lighting.
Is it Zachary Binks?
Zachary
No.
Binks.
So I'm gonna go over with this brown everywhere except for on top of the snakes. So I think you can, let me try to bring my camera down so you can see some of that detail. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way. Trying to get this without making a whole bunch of a mess. Okay, here we go. Book. Oh, book. And for this one, I am going to continue to use the sponge. So the sponge paintbrush that I had already used with the Mod Podge. So I'm just going to continue to use that, trying to stay somewhat away from the snakes. But if you get it on the snakes, that's okay because the metallic will go right over that. I'm already loving this color, looking like an antique look. I am not a pro with shading, so I will tell you that you don't have to be a pro when it comes to painting to do this project. I know that Taylor is really good with shading, so she's going to give me some pointers here when she gets to this point.
I think with this project, it's important to first and foremost just have a bunch of different colors available to you. So don't just have like one color. Make sure you're mixing like this. My paint that I have ready for this project, I think this is like a mixture of 3 different paints until I got to like the color that I was happy with. Right. But I also have, you know, another brown on hand. I always have water on hand because I don't ever paint without water on hand. I always like to dilute my paints. That's just how that's a lot of my shading technique comes with that. I also recommend always trying to, you know, paint with a dry brush too. So I kind of do a bunch of different techniques. I never just do one different or, you know, one technique. It's not all about that. It's about kind of going in with a bunch of different techniques. But with this project in particular, you know, everyone's going to have their own different kind of style. But what's kind of cool about it is, you know, this book is not supposed to look, you know, new and, you know, pretty. It's supposed to look old. It's supposed to look old and icky. And so you can kind of get away with, you know, those uglier shading patterns and things like that. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. But you want to make sure that you're obviously getting in those like stitching areas in the, you know, with those darker colors. And then you want to make sure that anywhere that you want to bring emphasis to, like the stitching and then around the snakes and those sorts of things, that you have those darker colors.
Yeah, I even saw a couple people today just take like, which is kind of what I'm going to do, is take a black Sharpie or a black paint and with a fine thing and go in where these stitches are, like in between to get in the crevices. I even saw somebody like paint all the snake black and then silver over the top, so it would get into the black would get down into the crevices, and then the silver would show over the top, just adding more and more dimension to it.
Right. That's kind of what I'm thinking of doing.
And that's kind of the thing too. You're gonna keep, if you're anything like me, you'll sit here for 3 hours and you will paint and paint and paint and paint and paint on it until you're finally happy with it. So
yes, and just keep adding that dimension of shading that's just going to really pop all of these things. But you can, as you can see, this is already just going so great. And we're going to go back in, we're going to add the shading to really pop some of that stuff. But I'm really liking using the sponge brush on this. Yeah. So I definitely would recommend. I'm loving just to kind of come down and sponge onto this. So I recommend that.
I think the sponge brush is a good idea. I didn't have any today. That was my own bad, but I do recommend having that. And if you do have to use a regular paintbrush, try to do more of like a dabbing motion, which is what I've been doing. Because if you just brush on, what you're going to do is you're going to actually be able to see a lot of those brush strokes, because the whatever paper you're using is going to get so wet that it's just not going to look right. And you're going to be able to see those brush strokes. So, and when you actually use a brush or like a dabbing motion with your brush, when it pulls up, it gives it more of that antiqued look or that skin type look. So
I love Halloween. What else do you say? It's going to give you that skin look.
Yeah, I know. It is creepy when you hear yourself say it out loud. You're like, oh.
Yes, I want to make it look like skin.
See why it's creepy?
Yeah.
So remember, I did that. I did 1 ply of the paper towel. So keep that in mind. And I was able to get a pretty good texture out of that. I'm really happy with that. And then with it only being 1 ply, I was at least when covering some of the symbols, I was really able to get some definition throughout, like with the stitching. You could really see the stitches pop up, which I'm really impressed by.
I know, I love that look. I had no idea.
Okay, and you know, if you're someone who doesn't necessarily like to craft too much, check out simplymadelocal.com. You're going to be able to get that handmade feel product without having to do it yourself. So kind of cool. We had some new, quite a few makers join us this week that have some really neat products. I know that I specifically loved one of the makers that came on who does pom-pom earrings.
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with her.
Love them.
They're super cute.
Super cute, really fun. Those are just going to look so cool, because I think one of the trends that's really popular right now is doing that shoulderless or that wide neck sweater look. Yeah. And especially if you have short hair, you need some cute dangly earrings. I mean, that just really pulls it together. Yes, look at Ryan specifically. Right, you are
Y'all-
so on fall trends right now. Fall
I had
fashion.
long earrings on earlier before we started, but because I kept looking down, they kept like bumping into my face, which is the only reason I took them off. But I did have long dangly earrings on.
Well, y'all know I don't like color, and I don't do color, but she has some very cute, very bright earrings, and I was even like, oh my gosh, I may have to purchase these.
Oh, and you guys, hello. Are we not going to talk about the most adorable Halloween clay earrings that came on this week from Charmed by Whimsy?
They're so cute.
Oh my
God. They're so cute. She just comes out. If you're looking for that polymer clay jewelry, the best around by far, Charmed by Whimsy. We've got
love
them
her.
right on our site at simplymadelocal.com. She's got ones for every single season. So if you want it for the current season, or if you want to be ahead, we've got every season up on the site. Check it out. It is just, I mean, they're
Well, she's an incredible person too. She's just such a sweet person.
And I think that's what's so neat right now is that, you know, we're going through this time that is just unforeseen. And when you buy handmade, we're keeping our monies local, we're keeping our money in our communities, and you're helping out a local artist obtain their dreams. So thank you so much for all of those who have purchased on our site at simplymadelocal.com. You mean the world to us and to a local artist. So that's what's really neat about Simply Made Local is that a lot of our artists offer their products with local delivery. So what you do is you go onto the site, you find a product that you like, you can go to their main profile and you can see what city they're in, and if it's near you, you can reach out to them and ask if they could do local delivery, which most of them do. And that is just kind of fun to kind of connect with the local artists in your area. And if not, they all offer shipping. Really neat. Okay, so I've got that base coat on. So now comes the fun part where I'll be able to get started with shading.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Taylor, would you recommend at this point, should I do my silver and then go in with the shading? I think that would probably be the way to go. What do you think?
So if you are good with are you good with your base coat? Or I mean, are you happy with the color of your book?
I am happy with the color of my book, yes.
Okay, then I would go in with your silvers and then kind of go in with your fine tuning after that.
Okay, so what I love about the silver is that it almost looks like it just is all meshing with the rest of the book. So don't get too concerned that you need to make sure that your silver is super straight and spot on with the snakes. So keep that in mind when we go through that you don't have to worry about it being perfect. Okay, so I think I've got that. I'm gonna put my sponge brush down because I'm gonna use more of a fine brush on the snakes, and I'll probably go with somewhat of a smaller brush head there. So I'm gonna choose a metallic color, and I felt like this was a little dark. I want it to be a little bit more silver, so I got more of a pearl as well. So I'm gonna mix both of those colors.
And I'm still just gluing my stitches on. So yes,
and you're
my
gluing
process,
the twine.
yeah,
right?
so my process is definitely a little more tedious, but I'm really excited to see the look that it gives because it looked really cool.
So I love what you're doing, Taylor. So you went with more of a thicker, almost like a why can't I think of the exact word?
Decoupage?
Well, when you do glue and like newspaper.
Oh, paper mache.
Paper mache. So you want almost like a paper mache type of feel there, and it looks like you kind of clumped up some of that paper towel to really give it more of a leather look.
Yeah, I want mine to be as, you know, I just wanted those spots to be as realistic as I possibly could. And so that's why I'm really spending a lot of time on the bottom part, the bottom layer. And I just figured that this would be the easiest way to do that. So that's where we're at. That's why I'm kind of taking the longest, I think, doing this, but I guess it just depends on the look that you're going for. But again, that's why it's fun. And we've had people kind of ask us, okay, why are you showing us, you know, you guys are all doing the same craft. Yes, we are. But we're all doing it so differently. And I think that that's what is so cool about this. And we will continue to say this. We will preach this until the cows come home. There's not ever going to be a time where you're going to come on a live video with us on a Thursday night and we are going to be doing it the same way, because there is never a time where the four of us have ever
agreed on the exact way to do things.
Exactly. It's just, it is how it is. But that's kind of the fun part about this. Well, actually, I think it is the most fun part about this, that, you know, we're all individuals, we're all different. And you know, if I were to watch a video like this, I would pick up on all these different things, and then I would get to make my own decision on exactly how I wanted to do it. So that's what we hope you all get from this. And, you know, aside from a really stinking good time.
Yeah. If you think about it, where else are you going to be able to watch 4 different tutorials in one video?
I know. Normally you'd have to do like we did and watch a bunch of different ones.
Yeah,
it take a lot of time.
So this is turning out really, really cool. So I was able to get that that silver metallic look, and now I'm just going right over the top. It is not even. It's not looking super crisp, and it's still looking amazing. So really.
Well, and that's
really
kind of what's nice too, though, because there's those 2 layers of paint. You can always go in with that brown color if you wanted to and crisp it up if you really like had, you know, if you really felt like you wanted it to be, you know,
different.
More, yeah, if you really wanted it to be crisper, you could.
Crisper, like it.
It's a word.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm gonna try to fight with these snakes one more time.
And you got your eyeball on there. I found that it was helpful when you've got the eyeball, that the bottom lid, I had to cut just a little bit more so that you could really kind of see the eyeball.
Right, I did the same thing. And I'm just hoping that these snakes stay down so I can at least
look at that. Look how cool that looks.
That's awesome.
Super exciting. And then, yeah, I probably will go back in because this metallic color was a little bit more runny, kind of went down. I probably will go back in and just kind of clean up some of those pieces, but this is looking super antique, really custom, really cool. I'm liking this a lot.
Robin says that mine looks like spider webs. It kind of does, huh, Robin? Well, hopefully after it's painted it won't, but you never know.
I feel like
so I think you know, this is one of our longest tutorials. I think we're gonna get going on this. You are gonna see these finished products on, when are we running these? Next week on Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday or Wednesday?
I think it's Wednesday.
Oh, okay, Wednesday. I'm sorry about that. So
I can double check
on Wednesday next week. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Support at simplymadelocal.com. You'll be able to ask us any questions. We are going to keep going so that when you watch our YouTube video, if you need to kind of take a look at how we did some of the shading, please check out our YouTube video. You'll be able to see the full tutorial front to end. We're going to stay on. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep having fun because that's what we do here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We thank you so much for supporting us every week and checking out these crafts. We find it that it's just so important to keep doing what you love, keep connecting with your friends, whether virtually or in person. It's just so important. So thank you for joining us here every week at 7 Pacific Standard Time. And we invite you back next week because we have a really fun project. We're doing some the red trucks, and we're going to show you how you can incorporate every single holiday with this project. So this is a project that's going to last all year long. You're not going to want to miss that. So please check it out and visit our blog this weekend for our fall fashion article that is just going to blow you away. So don't miss that. We'll see you back here next Thursday. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful week, guys. Bye.
Bye.